Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be doing another flip through today for day 2 of my flip through week. Yesterday I talked about the Master Books Language Arts curriculum for 9th grade. I can't remember the name of it right now, so I'll link that if you haven't seen it. Today I'm talking about the BJU Press Homeschool World Studies, and I don't have a fancy schmancy camera so that I can do like a really nice overhead, so the angle might be a tiny bit off and you might see the tripod leg over there, but I'm doing the best I can. But I'm going to be doing a flip through all week long of curriculum that we are trying, that we are new to, or things that we already love that we're continuing with, which kind of includes this. We've been doing BJU Press Homeschool for quite a while for history. We've done their science for a couple years. We've done their English for a couple years. And going into 9th grade next year, my daughter is going to be doing their world studies. Also, one of her electives is going to be their American Sign Language course, which I'm really excited about. But this is about the World Studies curriculum. If you've been doing BJU Press Homeschool and you're doing Heritage Studies, basically the BJU Press Heritage Studies ends after grade 6 or level 6. And so if you're looking for like a 7th grade level, it's what this is basically. So from what I've seen, this picks up where Heritage Studies 6 leaves off. Not to say that you have had to do Heritage Studies 6 before you can do this one. But time period wise, it says this book covers world history beginning about the 13th century AD, so 1200s. And then like it says here, in this way, it picks up where the book Heritage Studies 6, Ancient Civilizations leaves off. So just for your reference, if you've been using something else or you don't really know where this book would fit in, you're looking at around the 1200s AD for this book to make sense. If you're familiar at all with BJU Press, their teachers' manuals are amazing. Now they do have an online option where there's a teacher that teaches everything. In that case, you would not need the teacher edition. But if you're planning on teaching it yourself, then this is going to be really handy. And even though my daughter is older, I don't use this as much, but it has been a really useful tool to have in younger levels, or if you're still going to be teaching like every day, you're going to be doing history and you want to be able to read everything with your child, which is definitely fine. The teacher's edition is a pricier item, but it's definitely worth it because you have so much in here to help you. Not only you're getting copies of the student pages, what they're looking at in their book, talks about some of the main people being talked about. It gives you your objectives, some questions to ask at the beginning of the chapter about maybe the artwork or something. And then as you actually get into the lesson, you have basically what to say, not only what your child is seeing and what you're supposed to be doing each day, but what to say, specific questions to ask, and then the answer for them. So it is really helpful if you are teaching it and you do want to be, there every day in the lesson with your kid every day. This is going to be your best friend. And then they're going to have their own textbook. So it's a softback book where, they're all like soft cover. You have a spiral for the teacher's book. The child has a spine like this. And this is the activity book. So they're going to be reading in their textbook, which is again the same kind of softer cover. They have their textbook, they have the activity book, and you're going to look in your teacher's manual to see what they're reading in their textbook every day and what they're doing in their activity manual every day. So they're going to have these two things, and then you're going to have the activity book answer key. So you're able to see every single thing that they've got in their activity manual, you have the answers for. So it's really nice. So that's what you're going to need for that. If you're going to be doing the tests with your child, which I'm assuming you would also purchase the assessment pack separately and the assessment pack answer key. These answers are different from the answers in this book. So that's the only thing that I could say is a negative about BJU Press. It's not terribly expensive, but it's not terribly inexpensive, if that makes sense. It's a pricier curriculum, especially if you're doing the all online option. But you are going to need to buy everything in pieces. But the good thing about that is too, like if you didn't want to do the test with your child, you don't need to buy these. So it's nice how you can buy things a la carte to suit your need. I do like how the pages are really nice. They're kind of like a semi-gloss page. They have really bright colored pictures and maps. So it's a really, really pretty book. We've never done their world studies before. It's always been Heritage Studies. So I'm not really sure what the difference in the name means, like why they went from Heritage Studies to World Studies. But anyway, you're going to be talking about, first of all, preparing for world studies. Why is it important? I think a lot of kids want to know, why do we have to talk about history? Why does it matter what happened way back then? So that's the first chapter. You've got the emergence of Europe with feudalism, European culture and calamities. You've got kingdoms of Asia and the Mongol Empire, so the Chinese dynasties, Southeast Asian and Russian civilizations, the decline and fall of the Mongol Empire, Renaissance and Reformation, the European exploration, Africa and the rise of slave trade, colonization of the Americas, empires of Eurasia, European power and thought. I've got some geography mixed in here, different revolutions, the Industrial Revolution, radicals and reformers, colonial Africa, 19th century Asia. You got war, World War II, the Cold War, global growth and cultural change, and the 21st century. So that's basically the different chapters. In your teacher's manual, you're gonna have for each chapter a page that looks like this, at least for world studies. This is a little bit different than the way it's set up in the heritage studies. I don't really know how I feel about it. I definitely feel like it's a little bit more open-ended than it was with heritage studies, but each chapter in your teacher's manual, you have basically each assignment broken up into what they're supposed to be doing, what you're reading, any teacher's tools online you need to look to reference, and about how many days it will take. Obviously that's suggested. You can take longer or shorter if you want to. So it tells you at the beginning of each chapter what you're doing for that chapter. And the way it used to be set up with heritage studies was, so this is a different curriculum. This is their Bible curriculum. But basically in heritage studies, it was set up like this, where at the beginning of the teacher's manual, you have all of the assignments for the entire book in one, couple page section. And it would tell you the day to do it, the teacher and student edition pages. It was a lot. I just feel like this is a lot more parent friendly, I guess. I like having it better in one place and not having to flip through each chapter and look for the assignment, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but that's really the main difference I'm seeing right here. So, but that is there for you. You can take it or leave it as you want. You can definitely break the assignments up any way you please, but this is how it's intended, and it is offered for you if that's something that you want to follow. And then at the end of the book, you also have just some resources. You've got a couple maps. So if you don't have, a specific world atlas at home, and you don't have a political map, maybe, any map that you would need is in the back of your teacher's manual. You also have a glossary of all the terms. So that's nice. Of course, you've got your index back here. And then the student probably also has a map in the back. Yeah, they do. So they have the same map that you have access to in your book, they also have in the back of their book. So you're not having to go buy anything extra or hang something on the wall. So in a nutshell, that is the BJU Press Homeschool World Studies. I love how it's a Christian curriculum. So of course that's woven in throughout. If you're not a Christian, you probably would not like this curriculum. I'm not gonna say it's like overly Christian, but it is mentioned, it is referenced. There are Bible themes that, woven in throughout history in real life, and there's also Bible themes woven into this history curriculum. So if you don't want that, you might not like this curriculum. Otherwise, BJU Press is a very, very solid curriculum company. I've not really had anything from them that I don't like. We don't necessarily choose to do everything from them that we used to, but it's not really any negative against them. Sometimes it has to do with the time we have allotted or whatever we're interested in, different reasons. But we have used their history curriculum the longest, and definitely planning on it for 9th grade with this. So I thought I would share with you guys. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be sharing with you the BJU Press Basics for a Biblical Worldview. It's basically their Bible curriculum. I showed you a peek of it just now to look at that kind of suggested assignment layout. But that's what I'm sharing with you guys tomorrow, and then I'll have 2 other videos coming up after that. So make sure you stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I will also link my homeschooling playlist for you all. There's like over 250 videos, I think, in that playlist. So there's tons of information there about curriculum choices, reviews, flip-throughs, homeschool mom day in the life, routine videos, tons of stuff. So make sure you check out that playlist if you're interested, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.